The European Union has reached a historic agreement on how member states will deal with a sudden increase in migrant numbers. The new rules will allow frontline states to fast track asylum applications and move people swiftly to other countries within Europe. For more on this story, I'm joined by our international affairs editor, Philip Turle. Philip, great to see you. Talk us through what this agreement says exactly.
Well, I think the bottom line here is that they really, really wanted this agreement to be signed and sealed before the gathering that's taking place in Grenada right now in Spain, basically because this is going to give the EU some kind of clout when it comes to showing that it is a united force in trying to deal with the migrant situation which has caused large divisions within the European Union. So that accord has been in the pipeline for the last few weeks. Finally, an agreement was reached yesterday on 3 points, which you can see behind me. The first one, greater solidarity between EU nations. That's to say that no longer will it just be up to the nations like Italy, Greece, Malta, or, for example, Cyprus to take on the migrants coming in large numbers, but they will also be bailed out by other nations who will hand over money. And to help them deal with that, there will be a faster tracking of asylum requests, which means that those who have no hope of getting asylum will be made to return home much more quickly than at present. And the third one is to make a 40-week detention period outside EU borders to take the strain off those countries where all those migrants are arriving in droves. So there has been some kind of disagreement going on between Germany and Italy about this, basically because Germany says this is going against human rights. That's something that they're very strongly in favour of, particularly concerning women and children. That has been overcome now. So there is a united force for this pact, as it's being called, the Asylum and Migration Pact, which was agreed yesterday. So 23 EU states, including Italy and Germany, are in agreement. Against are Poland and Hungary, and abstaining Austria, the Czech Republic, and Slovakia. Now, what is significant there is, and also why they wanted to get this through, there are two other points. The first one is there are elections coming up next year in the European Union, elections in the EU Parliament. And the second point is that both Poland and Hungary are due to take over in the next 12 months the rotating presidency of the European Union. And there is concern in Brussels that this may lead to some kind of hindrance when it comes to trying to develop a policy which is favourable for migrants, but also clamping down on illegal immigration.
It seems that migration remains this hot button issue, a divisive issue here in Europe, and at times it feels like it's taken over the whole political debate.
Well, it's if you ask people in the street what their main concerns are, I think the first one is the cost of living crisis and spending power. But migration and illegal immigration is probably pretty up high there as well, because I think it's perceived by many people as being a hindrance to employment and their own possibility of changing jobs. And
Because of the political discourse
that is the other point, and it's being orchestrated by several nations in the EU. We just mentioned them, like Poland and Hungary, for example. There's now questions about what's going to happen in Slovakia with the re-election of Robert Fico, probably to the post of Prime Minister. Will they now turn on the thumbscrews against migrants as well? And that will lead to more divisions in Brussels. So it was important for the EU to get this legislation passed as quickly as they possibly could, so that there is some kind of harmony and some kind of vision that Europe does have a common policy, even if everybody doesn't agree about it. It was decided on a majority basis. Doesn't mean everybody has to vote in favour, which is why it's going through, even if there are some countries that are against it. But bottom line here, Delano, is that immigration and migration is still carrying on. We had last month this huge influx of migrants to Lampedusa in Italy. 7,000 in just 24 hours, which is even more than the population. So that's why migration has become such a huge subject in the European Union, and it looks set to dominate politics in the EU for many months to come.
years to come, I would say. Thank you very much for that, Philip. Philip Tell there.